Jassy had always considered himself an ordinary maintenance technician on Earth's orbital station Delta 7. His days consisted of calibrating life support systems, checking hull integrity, and occasionally rescuing the station cat from ventilation shafts. Nothing prepared him for the day he found a small, shivering alien child hiding behind a cargo container in Bay 12. The girl couldn't have been more than 7 years old by human standards. Her skin shimmered with an iridescent quality, shifting between violet and silver under the harsh industrial lights. Large, luminous eyes stared up at him with a mixture of fear and hope. She clutched a torn piece of fabric, perhaps a blanket, and whimpered softly. "Hey there, little one," Jassy said, crouching down slowly. He'd dealt with scared animals before. The principle couldn't be that different. "You lost?" The child didn't respond with words, but her trembling intensified. Jassy noticed she wore what appeared to be a damaged environmental suit, far too advanced for any human design he'd seen. Without thinking twice, he removed his jacket and wrapped it around her small frame. "Come on," he said gently. "Let's get you somewhere warm." Taking her back to his quarters was probably against 17 different regulations, but Jassy couldn't bring himself to call station security. Something about the genuine terror in those enormous eyes made him want to protect her first and ask questions later. He named her Phoebe. It seemed to fit. Over the next 3 days, Jassy became an unlikely caretaker. Phoebe didn't speak any language he recognized, but they managed to communicate through gestures and expressions. She seemed fascinated by human food, particularly chocolate pudding, which she consumed with unbridled enthusiasm. Jassy showed her cartoons on his datapad, and her musical laughter became the highlight of his evenings. He knew he couldn't keep this secret forever. But every time he considered contacting the authorities, he imagined Phoebe being taken away, studied, or worse, sent back to whatever situation she'd been fleeing from. The fear never quite left her eyes, especially when she heard loud noises or unexpected voices. On the 4th morning, someone knocked on his door. Jassy's heart hammered as he opened it, expecting security officers. Instead, he found himself face to face with 2 of the most striking individuals he'd ever seen. Both women stood nearly 7 feet tall, with the same iridescent skin quality as Phoebe, though theirs shifted through deeper hues of blue and emerald. They wore form-fitting suits that seemed to be woven from starlight itself, and their expressions carried a mixture of authority and desperation. "We seek the child," the taller one said in perfect, unaccented English. Her voice held harmonics that shouldn't have been possible with human vocal cords. "We detected her signature on this station. Please, we mean no harm." Jassy positioned himself protectively in the doorway. "How do I know that?" The second woman stepped forward, her eyes softening. "Because she is my daughter." Behind him, Jassy heard a small gasp. Phoebe appeared at his side, clutching his leg. But instead of showing the joy he expected, she pressed herself against him, hiding her face. "She doesn't seem to want to go with you," Jassy observed carefully. The mother's expression crumpled. "I know, and I understand why." She knelt down, bringing herself closer to Phoebe's level despite the distance between them. "Little star, I am so sorry. I should never have let them take you. I should have fought harder." "Take her?" Jassy asked sharply. The taller woman, a military officer judging by her bearing, explained with visible frustration. "Our people have factions. There are those who believe integration with other species is dangerous. They took the child to use as leverage against her mother, who serves on our diplomatic council. The child escaped during transport through this sector. She's been on her own for 2 weeks, the mother added, her voice breaking. 2 weeks of my baby wandering alone through cold space stations, terrified and hungry. The human who found her." She looked at Jassy with genuine gratitude. "You saved her life. Our species requires certain nutritional elements every 4 days. She would have died tomorrow." Jassy felt Phoebe's grip tighten on his leg. He looked down at her and she stared back up at him with those expressive eyes. Slowly she reached out one small hand toward her mother, though she didn't let go of Jassy. "Can I ask you something?" Jassy said. "Why didn't you call for help?" "Contact station authorities." The officer sighed. "Because the faction that took her has sympathizers everywhere. We couldn't risk alerting them that we were searching. We've been following faint traces of her energy signature across 3 systems, always one step behind. Terrified we'd find nothing, but..." She didn't finish the sentence. Understanding dawned on Jassy. This wasn't just about politics or diplomatic incidents. This was about a mother searching desperately for her child, unable to trust anyone, forced to hunt silently while her daughter remained in danger. He knelt down beside Phoebe. "Hey, kiddo. Is that your mom?" Phoebe nodded slowly, then buried her face against his shoulder. "I know you're scared," Jassy continued softly. "I would be too. But I think your mom has been just as scared as you. Maybe more. And I bet she's missed you even more than you've missed chocolate pudding." That earned him a tiny giggle. Phoebe pulled back and looked at her mother again. Really looked this time. The mother remained motionless, letting her daughter make the choice. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't approach, didn't pressure. She simply waited, radiating love and hope and patience. Finally, Phoebe took one tentative step forward, then another, then she ran, launching herself into her mother's arms with such force that even the tall alien woman stumbled backward. They held each other, both crying now, speaking in their native language, musical and complex and full of relief. The officer turned to Jassy. "You protected a child that wasn't your species, at considerable personal risk. Our people will remember this kindness. What can we offer in return?" Jassy watched Phoebe laughing in her mother's embrace and smiled. "Just make sure she gets all the chocolate pudding she wants." As they prepared to leave, Phoebe broke away once more and hugged Jassy tightly around the waist. She whispered something in his ear. He didn't understand the words, but he understood the meaning. "Thank you, friend." After they left, Jassy's quarters felt emptier than before. But as he cleaned up the makeshift bed he'd created and put away the cartoons, he realized something important. For 3 days, he'd been exactly what he'd always wanted to be. Someone who made a difference. His communicator buzzed with a message from Station Command, asking about unusual activity in his sector. Jassy smiled and deleted it. Some secrets were worth keeping.